Welcome back to another superhero video. Today, I am giving you my picks for the best hand-to-hand fighters in the DC universe. If you enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe and check out my other videos. Number 10. Katana. As the martial arts expert and swordswoman Katana, Tatsuyama Shiro is one of the best warriors in the DCEU. She appears in Suicide Squad as Rick Flagg's backup and one of the few characters who wasn't a criminal. She carries her signature sword, Soul Taker, which is introduced as being able to trap the souls of its victims. Several times she is shown as one of the toughest people in the battles. She may have the skill to rank higher on this list, but I just need more showings of her beyond the Suicide Squad movie. Number 9. Harley Quinn. In her animated and comic book appearances, Harley is shown to be an expert gymnast and, like the Joker, enjoys turning comedy props into weapons. Later we see her as a very adept fighter, holding her own against Batgirl and Mercy Graves. She's often the one who keeps Robin busy while Batman is fighting Mr. J. In the movie, she has no trouble against two of Enchantress's weird monsters, taking them out with ease. Later, in the final battle, she uses her wits to draw Enchantress in, then delivers the decisive blow, cutting out the witch's heart. Her psychology background often comes in handy when she wants to outsmart opponents during fights. That, along with her Olympic-level gymnastic skills, makes her very headly. Despite her lack of actual special abilities, she is shown throughout the film to be more than able to take care of herself. Number 8. Aquaman. Once he enters the battle, holding back the water of Gotham Harbor so the rest of the league isn't crushed, he makes an immediate impact. This version of Arthur is a warrior who literally jumps into the fight against parademons. He even overpowers Steppenwolf. This is a battle-hardened Arthur that fans can get behind. In Justice League, he's portrayed as one of the strongest, most experienced fighters on the team. We see in his solo movie that he is extremely skilled with his royal trident, being trained for years in Atlantean fighting techniques. But even unarmed, Aquaman is much faster, stronger, and more durable than normal people and even most superheroes. These powers combined with his aggressive fighting style makes him one of the most rounded DCEU characters to date. Number 7. Thera. If she wasn't so evil, Thera would be right at home among the Amazons of the Messiah. She's an extremely gifted warrior who has no time for useless men. There have been various versions of Thera in the comics, but the one thing they all have in common is their hatred of Superman. In Man of Steel, she and Superman have a massive battle that destroys a small town. For most of the fight she has the upper hand, beating on Superman like he's just some ordinary guy. Seriously, she wails on him so bad it gets embarrassing for the Man of Steel. It's not until the military shows up that he's able to regroup and mount an offense. She dies when her ship is deliberately crashed into by a military plane. Perhaps she should have listened to her instincts and not followed Zod with such blinding loyalty. Number 6. Hippolita. As the queen of the Amazons and Diana's mother, Hippolita's strength is never in doubt. You know it takes someone truly awesome to lead such an amazing tribe of women. She has been queen for thousands of years, being re-elected by her sisters each year. Though she regales a young Diana with stories of her triumphs and battles, we only see short glimpses of them. She has the same heightened strength and intelligence as other Amazons, as well as their immortality. She is also known as a fierce warrior, who has mastered all forms of hand-to-hand combat and is proficient with all the classic Amazon weapons. In the Justice League movie, we see a flashback of her fighting Darkseid and his army thousands of years ago. That is enough of a skill showing to me. Number 5. Antiope. The general of the Amazon army is widely believed to be the island's greatest warrior. Perhaps even better than her sister the Queen. Recognizing that she must be prepared for the coming threat, she begins training Diana in secret. Once Hippolita gives her blessing, Antiope trains Diana harder than any Amazon in history. It is in these moments we see the full breadth of her knowledge. When she finally fights Diana herself, she teaches her what to expect in a real battle. When the Germans attack the Messiah, she fearlessly leads her soldiers into battle, taking out several men before sacrificing herself to save Diana. Number 4. Batman. Batman spent his life traveling the world, becoming an expert in various martial arts and fighting styles, so he would be ready for any situation. Specifically in the movies, this is a Batman who's been in the crime-fighting business for 20 years, so he has a whole career of experience to draw on as well. He often uses those skills to take on several bad guys at once, like in Batman vs. Superman. He goes head-to-head with Superman and is winning until they realize they're on the same side. Once they put their differences aside, he's ready to fight Doomsday because Batman never backs down. In Justice League, he is seen killing several parademons and once again facing off with an amnesiac, angry Superman. If there were a DCEU fight club, there are only a few other characters who could match Batman in hand-to-hand combat. Number 3. General Zod. General Zod is what happens when a powerful character actually knows how to fight. Unlike Superman, Zod was raised without powers and was a Kryptonian warrior. Not just any warrior, but the leader of the military. As Superman fights his commanders and destroys his machines, Zod grows increasingly insane as his plan becomes less possible. Things culminate in a huge final battle that destroys Metropolis. With his military training and access to new powers, Zod is pretty unstoppable until his helmet cracks and he is forced to deal with the many elements of Earth life all at once. This is the small distraction Superman needs to take the upper hand. Without this moment, it's feasible that Zod may have actually defeated the Man of Steel, as he was clearly the better fighter and more prepared to go to the death. Number 2. Ars, God of War. Long before we actually meet him, we hear stories about how powerful Ars is. He corrupts men and causes them to give in to hatred and violence. It makes sense, he is the God of War after all. We'd be shocked if he wasn't a great fighter. In Justice League, we see him as one of the many races that came together to beat Steppenwolf the first time he showed up on Earth. This was obviously during friendlier times. Once he and Diana finally meet, it becomes clear just how powerful he is when he melts her sword like it's nothing. He then turns into his true form, unleashing even more of his god powers. There's a lot of lightning, as well as cars and bombs thrown at one another. Number 1. Wonder Woman. From the moment she burst on the screen in Batman v Superman, we knew this Wonder Woman was special. During the battle with Doomsday, we got glimpses of what we loved about the character, but this wasn't her story. Once we got to know her in Themyscira, we saw where all her honor and bravery came from. She was trained by the strongest Amazons and learned it from watching them in battle. Diana is faster than a speeding bullet, stronger and more durable than Aquaman, better trained than Batman, and even deadlier than most of the villains she faces. Though she is surrounded by gods, aliens, and Atlantans, Diana's confidence never wavers, and that's the real key to her strength. She knows if she wanted to, she could kick all their butts. Don't believe us? Just ask Batman. If you enjoyed this video, check out some of my others, and even subscribe. Thanks for watching.